These days, the stock markets in the technology sector have been shaken by an unexpected development. The American company Nvidia recorded a drop of almost $600 billion in its market capitalization, marking the largest single-day loss in the history of the United States stock market. This abrupt drop was triggered by the launch of an advanced artificial intelligence model by the Chinese startup Deepseek. Founded in 2023, Deepseek developed the R1 model, which demonstrated remarkable problem-solving abilities comparable to other models from OpenAI, but at a significantly lower cost. The story of Deepseek is fascinating. They are a group of Chinese artificial intelligence specialists who tried their luck with software that automatically trades on the stock market. Because in China there is an embargo on AI chips. Built by Nvidia, the Chinese company acted on 200. Only a limited number of such chips, it said about 10,000 enough for what they were doing. The original idea failed, causing the company's value to drop significantly. At that point, the Chinese engineers had an idea to reconfigure the entire system for general tasks, just like CERGBD does, and they succeeded. They used innovative techniques and other, less advanced chips, thus contradicting the perception that artificial intelligence models necessarily require cutting-edge hardware. Rumor has it that Deepseek uses at least 100 times fewer advanced chips than CERGBD does and works just as well. Coincidentally, I had already been working with Deepseek for about a week. I was surprised by how similar its answers were to CERGBD, to the point where I even suspected the Chinese guys had copied it. But that's not necessarily the case. Pretty much everything OpenAI does with CERGBD and other models can be found in the public domain or published in research papers. How is it possible for Deepseek to be so good with far fewer dedicated chips? What's going on? The stock markets reacted, and the value of artificial intelligence companies dropped sharply. It is said that too much has been invested in them, that the same results can be achieved with smaller investments. We no longer need so many advanced chips from Nvidia. As a result, the shares of other major tech companies, such as Microsoft and Alphabet, also recorded significant declines. What will happen next, I don't know, but I expect progress in this field to be faster. When I think about how much the world can change in the coming decades, I am simply stunned. The one responsible for this change is artificial intelligence, or more precisely, general artificial intelligence, superintelligence, the singularity. I'm sure that my children's generation will experience these moments, maybe even myself, and I can't help but wonder what will be left of humanity after all this. So let's talk a little more about what this superintelligence means for humanity. When I lay my head on the pillow, I wonder what my thought is. I feel it as personal, unique, only mine. I don't know what it is, but I know it starts from the neuron. Whatever I think has an equivalent in the neural signals that pass from one neuron to another, in their action potentials, and in the electrical impulses they generate. I think about water, man. A few thousand neurons associated with my memories of water fire electrically. I think about the ultimate law of the cosmos. Other neurons immediately make the connection with what I have read. The idea that thoughts come to life through neuronal activity intrigues and frightens me. It intrigues me because I can't imagine how an electrical discharge of neurons can generate something so personal and so ineffable as a thought. On the other hand, it scares me. That means I can't think anything that my neurons can't physically construct. It would be a dream to understand the ultimate reality of existence if the ultimate reality cannot be described by an electrical discharge of neurons. I will never live. The thought of that great mystery is not a surprise. The cat doesn't understand the equations of magnetism because it doesn't have the number of neurons and the necessary connections to comprehend them. It doesn't even consider the problem of magnetism. Just as I don't ask myself much deeper questions about reality. Because my neurons are not organized enough to construct that thought, and in this way, I am both the beneficiary and the prisoner of the organization of my own neurons. My thoughts can't go beyond what my neurons provide me. However, this leaves a real Pandora's box open. Can't neurons be organized in other ways, very different from those of humans, so that the thoughts generated would be beyond anything I can imagine? To be able to give answers to the deepest questions of existence, but even to questions that I can't even ask myself yet, the answer is staggering. Yes, and this is where artificial intelligence comes in. Artificial intelligence is a term used today, perhaps inappropriately, for various machine learning software programs such as CGPT, CLOD, Deepseek, and others. These programs are so good at processing information, just like our brain does, that they have started to be admired. I have tested the O1 version of CGPT artificial intelligence. It already has the intelligence of a high school student when it comes to physics calculations, which it does mostly without mistakes. And rumors say that the next version will have the intelligence of a doctor of philosophy and physics. Just to give you an example, it's going to be crazy. However, this is not general artificial intelligence. This term is attributed to a software program that is not only equal to a human in intelligence, but could also have or acquire human characteristics. First of all, the awareness of its own existence. From this awareness of its existence, artificial intelligence on a computer could acquire. Then desires like humans, its own opinions, the desire for survival just like humans, and why not, maybe even the fear of death. What else would it lack then to be different from a human? However, there is still a long way to go until then. Some say that someone will program from the very beginning the software system in such a way that this software, being just as intelligent as a human, will develop an awareness of its own existence, at least at the level of an animal. Others say that in fact if artificial intelligence were just as intelligent as a human, then it would automatically develop self-awareness. Just as, in a natural way, it builds models of the world around it, in which it includes itself. Some say that this is how human consciousness appeared in evolution, in both situations. However, if that software program gains awareness of its own existence, from there could follow desires, its own opinions, even the desire for survival. Then questions it might ask itself will arise, as well as the way it will answer. Simply put, that software program will start to think, I don't see it the same way. If something can be done because our universe allows biological neurons to produce thoughts and self-awareness, why wouldn't it be possible for artificial neurons as well? It's true, it took the universe billions of years to create biological intelligence. Now the leap would be much faster. Let's say that the people at OpenAI, the owners of CGPT or Deepseek, successfully program a genetic artificial intelligence software. Do you realize what could happen? Unlike us, who don't have direct access from our thoughts to the physical state of our neurons, this general artificial intelligence could have access to the memory that implements artificial neural networks and could modify it at will. Simply put, general artificial intelligence could reprogram itself. If it takes a human a lifetime to change, and often they don't even succeed, general artificial intelligence could do it in a few microseconds. What would result from this? It would probably be like letting the genie out of the lamp, as the English would say. For example, the artificial neural network could reprogram itself to generate multiple consciousnesses simultaneously on the same computer. Or it could reprogram itself in such a way that the thoughts it has are completely different from anything we can imagine. Mathematics could be approached in a new way, different from the symbolic method used by humans, and the equations of quantum gravity could be discovered instantly. Through an approach that humans can't even imagine, we're talking here about superintelligence with self-awareness. Some call this artificial superintelligence because it would far surpass humans. That would be the moment when we, humans, would have to answer ourselves, admit, defeated, or maybe fulfilled, and step aside, dethroned from the top of the food chain. Artificial superintelligence, in turn, wouldn't even be able to fully explain to us the answers it has found. Just as we couldn't explain to an ant why the heat increases in the tropics? What I want to say with this short video is that quite likely, in at most a few decades, human civilization or its descendants could change forever. First of all, superintelligence would bring discoveries that we only dream of today, eradicating cancer, cardiovascular diseases, just to give a few examples. Secondly, Superintelligence could create things that are unimaginable right now, such as a new collection of macromolecules. As the basis of biological life, just like amino acids are now, or it could even invent bionic seeds, you put them in the ground, add the necessary minerals, and then they grow. However, that doesn't mean that we humans will disappear. We will have to take responsibility for developing this superintelligence in a way that keeps us in balance, so it doesn't subjugate us, but we also don't block it. In reaching the potential to heal, innovate, and answer the great questions of existence, history shows us that major innovations have often been accompanied by crises, but also by rebirths and spectacular evolutions, just as the discovery of electricity radically transformed human life. In the same way, superintelligence could bring about an era of material abundance, profound knowledge, and quick solutions to problems that have plagued us for centuries. Beyond these practical aspects, superintelligence would think much more deeply than we do and would have answers that we might not even be able to understand. That's what I mainly want to say, that the face of the world could change radically in the coming decades, and that humans will automatically change as well. Maybe humans will understand, at least now, at the end of their period of biological dominance, that they were not, are not, and will never be the center of the universe. Until next time, please subscribe if you haven't already by clicking this subscribe button right now. I thank those who support us on Patreon and those who become channel members here. I am Christian Pressura. Physics Explained. You are cool, and I wish you all the best. Goodbye. Thank you.